It is. So this is going to be my FLS anti-life extinction antinatalist video, whatever you want to call it. And Mendham has made countless videos on this subject, so I'm just going to be regurgitating what he's been arguing essentially. So go check out his channel if you want more on the topics. So life is not worth starting. Life has resulted on this planet because of evolution and abiogenesis. The evidence for this is overwhelming. So evolution is just an unintelligent process pushed forward by natural selection doing its thing, and it creates this struggle to survive and reproduce things. It's been doing this refining thing of its DNA, finding more efficient ways to quickly catch and eat prey, or faster ways to reproduce. But it's just reproducing and surviving for the sake of reproducing and surviving. Since feelings have evolved in animals, this means horrible pain and suffering has occurred for no reason other than to continue surviving to die badly another day. Just brutal, horrible, torturous ways of dying. I mean, sick diseases, sickness, torture, just bad, ugly, fat, like starvation, just bad ways of dying and living have happened and are still happening in nature, and this has been going on for like hundreds of millions of years. So parasites, disease, burning to death, being eaten alive, like little bugs running about trying to find a mate and just trying to find some rotten wood to eat because they're just following their programming, their instincts that drive them, just to be snatched up by like a carnivorous insect, crushing them and eating them alive. And their bodies are just like broken and twitching. Their leg is sticking up in some angle, twitching, and it gets eaten alive. I mean, this is just one example. It's just it's horrible. It's just a molecule that replicates and causes mass death and suffering and struggle. Animals rise, the alpha male or lucky ones, and then they get to do their reproduction and eat, and then they fall after a short-lived victory. And this is what happened. This is what happens when forces run the universe and not intelligence. And so we owe it to the suffering animals and the future ones to prevent this mass cycle of slaughter, drive as much life extinct as we can in a compassionate, efficient, graceful manner, like some kind of mass sterilization program instead of just bloody hacking everything to pieces. You know, we're the animal, the most intelligent to figure this all out, to understand what life is all about. So we need to be their caretakers, and taking care of them means, preventing harm. And the only way to really do that is this mass extinction event, because life just isn't accomplishing anything. So that's the nature wildlife argument. So now there's the decision to have kids. I mean, it's an important one as so much is at stake, but people don't consider it enough. Otherwise, they wouldn't be having kids. Having kids is stupid and selfish and unethical in my eyes. You're just creating a need machine that never needed to exist. You create a bunch of needs and desires, and now this person has to navigate this world of danger and stupidity to try and satisfy these needs. It's just like throwing a person on a rickety roller coaster with just a metal bar to hold on to and just saying, we'll make this work because I'm a great parent, or I will be. I mean, you're just assuming you're a great person and your kid will be a great, decent person and will have no like crippling mental disorders or skin diseases or disorders, or end up paralyzed or be mentally disabled. Well, I guess that's mental disorder, but people, and then you'll say like, oh, I'll still love my kid. Doesn't matter if it's mentally disabled or not. Yeah, I know you will. I know you'll still love your kid because of whatever reason. But the problem is taking account of the consequences of your actions. Like, you just created a whole bunch of dysfunction. You won't feel guilty about creating some suffering or dysfunction or brokenness or nothing like that. Like, no guilt, no humility. I mean, your kid will have to die one day, so you've never died. This major part of life, you've never died, but you're going to sentence someone else to do it. I mean, what if your death is so painful and humiliating and hard on the people around you that you would say, yeah, I'd never redo this life thing again, with knowing what I know now about how I'm going to die. And if you think that can never happen to you, I'd say that your imagination of how bad it can get is completely out of touch with reality. You'll just delude yourself and hope that everything's going to be all right. In a world full of such danger and traps and death, I mean, it's insane. Most people have kids when they're like 24. Like 24, 22, 25, like something like that. So even like the first 5 years of your life, you're not even doing anything much cognitively. You're just learning, putting a block on top of another block, doing some stupid shit like that. So that's already 5 years that your brain's just developing to do basic functions. So if you have kids at like 24, so now 19 years life experience before you decide to raise a kid. Somehow that's enough to have kids. I mean, your brain hasn't even like fully developed yet. So it's just like, how do you know what experience, how much experience you have? Like, you're not able to do it correctly at that age. But let's say also the older you get, the older a woman gets, the more chance the kid will have autism or Down syndrome, as the study suggests. So, I mean, either or, you're kind of fucked. And your kid will take resources from other people and animals that exist already, but you're okay with that. It's the same as having all these stray dogs and dogs needing to be adopted that should have had a better home, but instead we're breeding more dogs. Like pugs that have breathing problems because they have been bred to look cute. But that's animal rights, right? We have to allow pugs to be bred, otherwise, you don't want to be a crazy, stupid, loser animal rights advocate. You don't want to be one of those people, so torture some pugs. Torture some bulls at the rodeo. Who cares? But anyway, back to the subject of anti-birth. Your kids will take resources from people already here, as I said, and you're just going to be okay with that. Like, because you want a kid with your partner and you want to play with your kids, like having a pet, like having a little mini version of you that looks like you and your partner, a mix. And, oh, how charming and how cute, and maybe he'll have my nose and his ears and blah blah blah. It's stupid. And because your grandparents want grandkids, right? Oh, I want grandkids, and how many kids are you gonna have, and when are you gonna have them? I mean, these are all selfish reasons. I mean, I'm going to be a parent because my kid will love me, and I'll be such a great parent because I'm funny and interesting and cool and smart. No. That's a stupid way to think. You're not. You're just a pathetic, lame, fat, stupid, pretentious loser of a douchebag. Okay? What makes you think you're going to be such an interesting, cool, fun parent? Oh, you're just going to assume it. You're just going to hope and assume and wish. Wish up on a star. Ugh. It's based on some silly notion that, oh, I love life and the people around me love being alive, so my kids will love life and thank me. Yeah, they probably will, because they're an addict of life. They have an ego and desires and a psychology created by evolution to love life and enjoy chasing the cheese in the rat maze, so to speak. Keep wanting, keep desiring. This psychology's been evolved to do that. So of course they're gonna be glad they exist. They're addicted to the game. But maybe they're glad they exist so they can rape or bully someone or be a alcoholic, a lazy alcoholic, or take advantage of someone? You don't know. Of course, you imagine this cutesy, wonderful life for your kids, but that's just not the average. It's just some delusional fantasy, and it doesn't even matter about trying to make someone want to exist. You have no control or consent from your kid to do it in the first place. I mean, how do you know it won't be someone that hates you or hates life or both? I mean, creating an addict that needs to be constantly happy is just wrong. Maybe everything is good. You have a good job, you're happy with your partner, and then tragedy. You're a cop, and you get shot one day doing your job. Boom, now your kid is, let's say you divorced your partner too, and now your kid is, maybe he hates his dad and you got shot, or he hates his mom and you got shot. Maybe you have to move because of your job, and now, you just put your kid in a bad situation because now he's got these school friends, and now he has to say goodbye and start some new life at some other new shitty school. But that's part of life, and he'll have to get over it. Or he, I say he, but it's either or. I guess I should say they. But and your kid gets. Let's say your kid gets kidnapped and raped, like you see on the news. Some unlucky bad thing. So this is a consequence of wanting kids. You don't know. You have no control over this experiment. It could cause severe suffering and or death for them. You just don't play a game this dangerous. Ethics have to do with reducing the amount of harm done on planet Earth. This is just unethical. You're creating harm. I mean, in non-existence, there's a cure for everything bad. And if you're in non-existence, you can't even know about being sad, let's say, about missing anything. Missing out on being rich, or what chocolate tastes like, which is, again, just satisfying needs that only exist once you start existing. Once you're born, all the negative trapdoors have been set. We have to try and navigate through them. Then there's the BS of we need kids or we'll go extinct, which is, good. How is Mars having no life on it a bad thing? Less humans means more resources, more housing, more room to live, etc. So this economic argument of why we need kids or the society will collapse is just like a capitalist lie. Or it's just a lie to get more wage slaves. Maybe the problem is the structure of the economy, of the society, and the problem isn't the amount of kids that we'll have. Maybe we need to fix that instead of needing to have kids to keep the system going. And then there's this idea of reoccurrence. Now, it's not reincarnation, because that's just crap. But the fact is that we live basically the same life, just in different versions. Like, I can imagine being you in your position. We all wake up on the planet the same way. We just kind of open our eyes and like, oh, I'm here, I'm alive, what's going on? And because of genetics and environment and your family and stuff, we all live in different ways, but the fundamental core of being a sentient pile of DNA on Earth is just the same. Worms, the richest man, Elon Musk, he still has to eat and shit and feel the same as us and navigate his stupid subjective life. Like, we're all the same in this sense. The worm, like, it's just bacteria with brains, worms with brains. And the only difference is that we've got some, like, technology or, knowledge. But there's no difference. We're all the same in that sense. Like, let's go back, like, 6,000 years, or even more, like, to ancient Egypt, like, way back, like, 10,000. Let's see how different life is. So, let's say I'm born a male again. I'm born in ancient Egypt, and I have to do the school thing, because let's say I want to be a scholar, so I do the school thing, and then in my class, in ancient Egypt, there's some pretty girl that's, well, of course, I don't know how the roles work in ancient Egypt, if the boys and girls were in the same class, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I get attracted to some pretty girl, let's say, and then I have to get stressed for exams because I have to do my, I have to be a scholar, so do my job and I become a scholar, and then I, just do this, just the same routine, eat shit, write my scholarly shit until I die of some disease, let's say, So how is that any different than being born now? Oh, doing some sport, getting attracted to some girl in your class, and then, oh, what do I want to do when I grow up? Oh, I'll make video games, and then marry some woman and have kids, and then do the whole thing over again and die. Like, it's just this, like, maybe I'm not saying it right, but it's the same life. And go through all these lives through history. They're all the same. Just figuring out what we are and then doing this stupid routine, find a coping mechanism, blah, blah, blah. The only difference is we've got like technology and knowledge of technology and knowledge of the world. Like, we've got stuff like video games and movies. Instead of, we can type on a computer instead of having to chisel on stone. But again, the fundamental core of being a feeling alive thing is the same. All this different, I've got different, I'm a woman instead of a male, and I got I got green eyes instead of blue eyes, and blah blah blah. This is all superfluous nonsense, because the feeling of, how do I want to say this, but like the feeling, fundamental core of being a human is the same. Is we don't want to die badly. We want to feel comfortable, etc., etc. Like, you see these comedians make jokes, and like, it's like, oh, the stuff. Have you ever been at the airport and seen blah blah blah? And then it's some like relatable joke, and it's funny because, oh yeah, I've had that experience, or being on the subway, let's say, or even like, there's like some funny, like some, well, it's not that funny, but it's like it's supposed to be funny meme where everyone is like, you've tried to help your dad with something, and you're holding a flashlight for him as a kid, and then you get bored or tired, so you start like shifting your posture and moving the light, and then your dad gets mad at you, like, oh, why can't you shine the light here, blah blah blah. And it's funny because everyone's like, oh, this is so relatable, I've had the same thing with my dad, and like, it's the same thing. We've been living all the same lives over and over. I mean, maybe I'm not explaining this the best. I'm not the best explainer. I'm not the most articulate, but it's just the same life in my eyes. But where does this let us? The same place, why would you birth another person to just live the same relatable exact life over and over and over? Like, oh, I need to climb Mount Everest. I need to be one of the guys that has ever climbed Mount Everest, and I need to be rich and have a fancy car and a big house. And then they're dead. And then the next version of them is born, and same thing. I need to climb Mount Everest. I need to be rich and have lots of hot women and drive a car, and then dead. And then over and over and over and over for just forever. We'll just keep doing this forever. How about no? How about the person I just described in ancient Egypt? Eat shit, fuck your hot girlfriend, eat food, this shit over and over and over until we're here, which is the same thing over and over and over. Instead of playing, with wooden swords in ancient Egypt, now we just play on video games. Like, it's stupid. We'll just keep, I don't want to do this over and over. Like World War 3, 4, 5, 6, cancer, disease over and over forever and ever. Let's just put an end to this. We've been doing the same thing over and over. And then the whole life is a gift crap. Oh, this one's insufferable. So I did write out a quote from a YouTube comment that I found interesting. So, quote, is life a gift? A gift is something voluntarily transferred by one person to another without compensation. Life is transferred except you're required to pay compensation in rent, work, garbage, genetics, and exploitation/suffering. While it is rude, gifts can also be refused, but life is forced on you and you are emotionally blackmailed to keep on living. Gifts are not meant to be a burden, but life requires us to eat, sleep, and pay money and time to work and other annoying processes. A gift is supposed to be a benefit to a person's existence, not a burden. A burden would be called a curse. Also, gifts don't have to be accepted, unlike curses which are forced upon you. Therefore, life is not a gift, unquote. So, I don't know about this whole curses thing. It was obviously magical curses aren't real, but yeah, I guess that's about as good as a response to life is a gift crap I've ever, like, it's good enough. So that's that taken care of. Oh yeah, and now I want to touch on this point of taking resources from someone that's already here. Like, if you take something, like, let's say there's one remaining thing on the shelf, some kind of medicine, and you say, oh, there's one left and I took it, look how lucky I am. Well, now you know that someone else can't get that medicine, let's say, that you just got. So and then you just go through your life like that and look. So if you take a parking spot, one parking spot left in a busy festival event, let's say, oh, look how lucky I am. Now you take it. Well, now someone else could have had it, and then let's say a cool business plan now means someone else won't get that money. That could have done better than you. That maybe could have had a more ethical, more efficient business than you. Maybe you just wasted all the time and resources of the business, right? Because there can't be unlimited pizza places, let's say, in a spot. I mean, not realistically. Winning the lottery means that all the other people that maybe desperately wanted to win the lottery or needed the money for their health or for something, now they don't. Maybe you get a job you were hoping for. Well, now that means all the other people that were trying to apply for that job don't get it. Maybe they go broke or suffer or die because of that. Living life means you're constantly harming and killing animals and other people, and you have no control over this. So how can this be enjoyable or worth starting? And that's the big one, worth starting. Being enjoyable, well, that's a whole other subject. Because it's just, I don't understand how this is worth starting. Like, life will traumatize you. I mean, there's a good chance of it anyway. Like, we've no control over anything, no power to even keep our memories. Even something like deja vu, it feels so real and surreal. But it's just a brain thing, like nostalgia, this kind of like feeling that, it's kind of psychology stuff, but there's no satisfactory answer than, oh, it's just a mind trick. But it seems so real, like I've been here before, like I swear I've been here, and it's just confusing. But you know for a fact that you weren't here before, so our own mind even tricks us with hallucinations, optical illusions, delusions, delirium. Even a good dream, you quickly forget about most details, right? The truth isn't satisfying, it's just empty. So we have an intelligence, and we've been cursed with no control, a huge ego, huge biases and flaws, feelings that just control us and consume us, cursed with stuff like OCD, insomnia, anxieties, traumas, phobias. And these are just some psychology disorders. Now go through all the list of all the skin disorders and diseases, all the respiratory, all the blood, just go through all this horrible shit that afflicts us. Even our own body just sucks. I mean, having to endure bad breath, smelly armpits, having to wipe shit out of your ass. You know, unless you get like one of those water things. But even that it's just gross. And we have to endure all this shit. Endure pain, bad luck. That's completely out of our fault. I mean, let's say you need to pass a college exam, so you don't drink, you don't go out and party. You really, just from the start, you've been given the. Well, let's say it's not a test. Let's say it is a test, and you just study, study as hard as you can, best effort. You can try your hardest, no messing around, and just utterly fail the test. I mean, that shouldn't be. That's not fair. How can life be that you just try that hard and you want to do good and it just completely fails? That sucks. Or having a sex drive that consumes you or degrades you. Like people that need to get like people, they want to have people shit on them to get an orgasm, like, and they want it, they like it, because this sex drive has completely fucked with their psychology to make them like be completely degraded and humiliated. How can this be good? You know, a hunger drive that consumes you, makes you fat. It just sucks here. We're just supposed to find a coping mechanism, go with the flow, be a good little slave, a good little Borg, and keep on marching onwards to go nowhere. And I remember one YouTube comment, said that his usual barber, he wanted a haircut, right? His usual barber was closed, so he went to another barber who was cutting his hair and nicked his head accidentally with like the razor. And it got infected, and now his whole immune system is fucked. He has to take all these pills constantly, and he's only like 25. So just like that, your life can go from decent to shit. Or you're plagued with all this shit, and you can't undo anything. It's just, keep your head down, keep marching. Like, do we have to keep doing this? It's like you people just turn off your brains and defend life with like some cult reverence. Like you don't even realize you're being gamed, manipulated by a psychology, by a DNA molecule that makes you feel like you want to keep on living, like you need to keep on living, like somehow life needs to keep existing. Get over these manipulations, these delusions, this silliness. Like somehow there's more pleasure than pain in the world. Again, pleasure doesn't exist. Pleasure is just relief of pain. There's only pain and relief of pain. It's like a V. You know what a V shape is? You know how the two sides of the V are always like parallel, well, not parallel, but what's the word? They're both equal. So you can only feel as much pleasure as the severity of the pain. So let's say the one side of the V is a dip, right? That's the pain, the discomfort, the want, the need. The pleasure is the upside of the V. But again, you can only have as much pleasure as the severity of the pain, because as both sides are equal. So, I'll give some examples. Like a glass of water. Let's say I should probably drink some water. I just had a meal. I'll probably get dehydrated a bit. I had a lot of sodium. So you drink it. Not bad. You didn't get much pleasure out of it because you didn't really have a super hard, you didn't really want or desire it. So it was all right. Now let's say you're forced to march through a hot desert with no water, for like 2 days. That a glass of water is gonna be like the best thing you've ever had in your life, because the severity, the discomfort, the need was super, super, super intense. So the pleasure of the glass of water will be really great relief. So you just all the pleasure and enjoyment out of life, you just use that system, and you'll understand that it's all just relief of pain, like a laugh. Like you can Your friend tells a joke and you have a good laugh and you enjoy it, and then you think, okay, so where was the relief of the pain there, the discomfort, the need, the want? And I can just show you that maybe there was no need to have a laugh, but you have something called a sense of humor, and that's something, that joke tickled that sense of humor, so that was a want. Your wants are want is like hunger, or something physical that really, your body really tells you want something, but your mind is much more complicated than that. So let's say you want a joke, but your brain doesn't tell you, oh, I need a joke. So let's say something really serious happens, and you're just upset, and you're at the funeral of this loved one, and you're just totally upset, and your friend, tells that same joke. You're not gonna laugh because you don't want it. You're gonna be like, dude, like, shut up, this is serious. You didn't enjoy the joke because there was no want for it. There was no need. It didn't tickle your sense of humor in that case. Whereas in the other case, it did. You would want, your mood or whatever was, amiable for this joke. So you're feeling good. So it satisfied that pain. Well, like, it's not pain that you want it. Like, I'm probably not explaining this good, but I mean, I guess that'll have to do. But the same joke will not be enjoyable if you have really bad rotting tooth in your skull, because that the pleasure is just relief of pain, but the toothache is not going to be cured from that. So, but again, this psychology stuff is more complex than just basic eating, relief of hunger and all this stuff. But even if you don't have a physical urge to get pleasure from something, the want, need is still there. So there is more pain than relief of pain, because we're in a constant state of constant unsatisfaction and need. And this makes sense evolutionary. You're not in a constant state of need. You're not going to move. You're not going to eat. You don't feel pain for eating. Well, you're not going to eat, and guess what? You're going to starve and die. Then you will be naturally selected out. You will be extinct. You will be dead. So the life that continues has to be kept in this state, to keep constantly satisfying the bad things, the pain, the hunger, all this stuff. You could say, oh, I went to the beach, let's say, and saw the sunset, and everyone was smiling, and it was great. Where's all this pain? But it's like the slaughterhouse, hidden away from view. No one on the beach has a severe migraine or a severe rotting tooth or anything like this. People don't go to the beach when they have a headache or something, or some other major pain. They only focus on removing their suffering, so they'll be in the hospital, away from all this pleasure thing. So, but if sex and chocolate and sunset beaches are so good to make life worth all the bad, then just go to the beach and have sex if you've got a bad rotting tooth, and then magically it's going to be cured, right? No, you are only looking to get rid of your pain. Even in nature, the death is hidden. Maggots eat the dead. It's all hidden out of view, but not if you look for it. And let's say life is just pure euphoria. Let's say we never died, right? Creating something pointless is also unethical. So let's say the two options: one where there is no life in the universe, and one where there is just one human alive on Earth, but they're in constant agony. I mean, so you've got the opportunity, no life and life. And so because you've got some cult religious love of life, you'll pick the one human in constant agony, because at least there's this universe has life and we need it. Like, we need life to exist, right? I mean, you're just feeling good to feel good. It's just as existing for the point of experience, to experience existence. Nothing to win here, nothing to accomplish here. Like, what if there is no bad, just euphoria, no death? So you got one choice, this a universe with no life, and a universe of life and pure euphoria, no death, just constant I mean, you'd pick that one. Let's say it's like 100,000 humans on Earth, just going constantly, oh yeah, this is so awesome and funny, and this is so great. And you would be able to keep doing that forever. You'd say, yes, 100,000 people in constant euphoria, do that forever. And you feel good about that. Just seeing them doing nothing, accomplishing nothing. Just sitting, going, oh, I love experiencing. Oh, this is so great. I mean, it's pointless. It's not just the suffering. It's just pointless life. So what if there's no existence? Another two options: no existence in the, no life in the universe, or there's life, but it's in constant euphoria, and just hits a rock with a hammer forever, and you'd keep that going. This pointless bang bang. This is so great. Bang bang. Let's say for 80 years, and then they die. The human hitting the rock with the hammer. You'd say, yes, we need existence, we need life, we need humans doing life, so we need to create this being, just hit a rock with a hammer, laughing for 80 years and then dying. And create that again. More bang. Again, this whole stupidity that we need to be alive, we need humans to be alive, we need life to exist. You can't just see how it's pointless, even in something like pure euphoria. And the point is, what's the difference between the pure euphoria hitting the rock with a hammer, and what we're doing now? Okay, so we're not in pure euphoria. Okay. And so there's pains and discomforts in there. So what are we doing that's better than just hitting a rock with a hammer? Again, climb Mount Everest? Have a desire to climb Mount Everest to satisfy a desire that never needed to exist? Like, what are we doing here? I mean, you wouldn't just say forget existence, forget experiencing existence. This is just stupid. Let's just go back to the void and be in peace. No more hitting rocks with hammers. No more euphoria, drooling, laughing. Let's just go back before all this nonsense and suffering. Can we do that? We can. And it's easy. Don't have kids, and, try not to pay for the harm towards anything, animals or humans, and vote for it. Yes, I vote for life to go extinct as quickly, as gracefully and compassionately as possible. So again, it's not a pro-killing, pro-murder philosophy. It's just okay, how about just a mass sterilization, extinction philosophy? How about that? Can we do that? Yeah, we can. We've got the tools and the intelligence to put an end to this stupidity. And one person or 10 can't fix it, but a whole bunch of you can. So if you grow a brain, get over your fucking psychology, delusions, etc., we can actually cure cancer. We can cure cure war. That's all cured in non-existence. All of it. So let's do that, please. Okay, so I guess that's the end of the video. So yeah, I'm not the most articulate, but it'll have to be good enough. So